Hi, I'm Ed Walsh from the EMC Office's CTO. I'm here with Ryan Peterson, our Solutions Director for the Isilon storage business. We're here at Hadoop World this week. Pretty exciting. I think there's over 3,000 participants that I heard here today, so traffic has been phenomenal.
Incredible.
All around. I know you've been having a lot of great meetings with customers, talking about some of our different solutions. What are some of the things that have been coming up, Ryan?
So Ed, thanks for having me on the video here. We are it's a great time this whole week. We've been spending a lot of time with great customers, and the discussion topics that keep coming up are the fact that you can now use enterprise-grade storage for all of your Hadoop-based analytics. So big differences now between the way things used to be and the way things are now. It's the traditional DAS model of creating a storage infrastructure solely for the purpose of doing analytics is kind of going by the wayside because of technical improvements that we've made in Isilon. For example, putting HDFS as a wire protocol.
Yeah.
So that capability now allows you to take all of the enterprise feature sets that Isilon has and start integrating Hadoop and having Hadoop be more of an application that you run against your data.
So bringing that processing to the data that is already there within your environment. Is that what you're saying, right?
Absolutely. You already have Isilon in your environment. Oftentimes you already have a virtualized environment. I mean, those two things, like with the Hadoop Starter Kit that your team worked on,
yeah.
I mean, what a great ability to bring Hadoop to your data as opposed to having to bring data into Hadoop.
Right.
You don't have to replicate your storage architectures. You don't have to go get a secondary place to put it. And for that matter, put a lot of your data onto an open source platform for storage.
Yeah. I think the VMware piece brings a lot of flexibility too in the types of compute that you want to bring, the scale of the compute that you want to bring. One thing that I've noticed here this week is there's been a big focus on a lot of companies here talking about how to unlock and get access to those legacy data repositories and be able to provide HDFS access to it and or Hadoop processing. You know, I've seen Rainstor as an example of being able to access some of your legacy SQL database information that's stored out there. Is that some of the things that you're seeing from customers?
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting when you start looking at file data being in a scalable repository and then being able to access that data through a parallel processing system like Hadoop can do. Well, then you start seeing differences of the way people are going to go about doing that business. So a great example of that is Rainstor. They're taking large-scale Oracle RAC solutions and Teradata solutions and trying to get content from those solutions into a place that's a little less expensive to manage it.
Right.
And oftentimes it also helps to performance increases and things by offloading some of those records.
Right.
And Rainstor makes a really great software for that. So it integrates really well with Isilon, takes all of that content, gives you a place to archive it. You can archive it, they claim 90% plus.
Wow.
I mean, compression on databases. So putting that on Isilon, working with Hadoop to then rehydrate that content, because now you have parallelized access into a file of structured content. Really great story when you start looking at now new software vendors that are coming in, and because of that parallelized access of HDFS into Isilon, being able to do things that were just really never possible before.
So it gives you different ways to analyze that legacy data across multiple platforms. Plus, it helps you save money. Sounds like a win-win there.
Yeah, I had a great meeting with a customer last week. We were in Barcelona and spent some great time with customers out there. And one of our customers, I asked the question, what did you think? What's more expensive? And they said, we looked at all these different solutions, and the idea of commodity DAS storage, wow, it was so much more expensive than doing it with Isilon. Because by the time you decouple it, we don't do 3x replication, as you know. The cost just really got reduced. Right. And the second question I asked was, what about performance? Because everyone's always asking,
everybody wants performance, right?
Everyone wants performance. So we put on NAS storage, it's got to be slower, right? Well, actually, that's not the case, because all the ingest processes and all the things that have to happen in a traditional Hadoop architecture, they go away when you start running Hadoop against your content. The content's already there, and you simply add it as an application. Well, everything kind of speeds up.
Right.
So we're finding that performance is actually better, the price is better, and then finally the third question I asked, what about feature sets? Well, one of the features we were looking for, this customer saying, is that we wanted SMB access to our data.
Oh.
We wanted to be able to get our Hadoop data in and out using SMB. Well, the only solution available to do that today is Isilon, because Isilon, of course, supports multiple different protocol solutions.
Right.
So
all those legacy protocols, right?
All the legacy protocols, right?
Sure.
All the ability to get in, so I can take my Windows laptop, put data in, analyze it with Hadoop, and take the result data out.
Right.
What a great thing to be able to say.
That's really interesting. The other thing I've noticed over the last couple of days here is the number of vendors that are here with, I'll call front-end software solutions, right? That all ride on top of some sort of HDFS type of interface to their data. Seems like there's just an explosion of the number of different platforms. Splunk is a great partner of EMC. I know we've done a lot of work with them recently. Multiple different Hadoop distributions out there. How does shared storage and compute help in that space with all these different platforms?
Well, it's a great question. I mean, you think about it, you have all this different content that's already been created, and sometimes it's log file analysis data. It might be any different kind of stream. Well, if you put all that content into a centralized enterprise class repository, then a lot of different technologies can use it and use it simultaneously. So a great example of that is Splunk. It could be Cloudera, it could be Hortonworks, it could be Pivotal. It could be all the different kinds of distributions as well as all the various softwares around it. But because we operate as an over-the-wire protocol, whether it's NFS, CIFS, SMB, a HDFS connection now, HTTP, FTP, any kind of protocol, any of those can access the content simultaneously at the same time.
So you get these new analytics capabilities,
right?
And you continue to have simultaneous access with your legacy applications that are creating a lot of that data.
Correct. So we have Splunk just came out with a new technology this week as well called Hunk.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh a little bit. Hunk. But Hunk is the ability to then write their indexes inside of an HDFS container. And we're finding that that might be an interesting way to have the indexes writing within Isilon. The data's already there. And potentially pull that data out through Hunk. So we'll see some new things coming, we think, around that technology as well. So a lot of people are coming up with new things this week. Right. We believe that having all the content sitting already in the Isilon repository is going to be best for our customers. So we want to make sure our customers get the best thing for them. And so the decision I think they're looking for is not, should we go create a new Hadoop infrastructure? Because I don't think that's the right answer. It's, what are we using for our enterprise class storage today?
Right.
Where are we putting our file data?
Right.
Are we prepared to start running analytics against that content?
Evolutionary is always much more adaptive than revolutionary, right? Bringing in a whole new infrastructure. I think we've learned over the years that dedicated infrastructure for applications tends not to be a long-term winning strategy for anybody. So it seems like there's really three big things that are driving Isilon growth in this new big data analytics space. One is the flexibility to be able to utilize multiple different types of applications against the Isilon platform with really no additional change within your environment.
Right.
It supports the new HDFS protocols as well as all the legacy ones where your data is being created as you've always used it. Flexibility in allowing you to use any type of analytic type of application against that. And then, of course, Isilon storage, enterprise grade class storage, reliability, compliance capabilities, and I think we have some new data services being announced this week as well, right?
Right. So, and I'll talk about what I call Hadoop dedupe in a second. but talk about compliance here for a quick second. I mean, I believe we're the only solution on the market that already does SEC 17A4 compliancy.
Wow.
So we can do worm locking of file data. And then because HDFS is a over-the-wire protocol, that file is locked. It's locked inside of Hadoop, and it's also locked inside of any other access. So when you need to run data in compliancy mode, probably the best solution available today is going to be in Isilon already.
So you don't compromise your compliance stance.
Exactly.
By moving data around within the environment. So you can do your Hadoop processing and still remain compliant.
Exactly. And now, going back to your previous point, this week we're releasing Project Waikiki, which is version 7.1 of OneFS. A lot of really great capabilities in there, and like I said, I like to call it Hadoop dedupe, and marketing people hate that because we dedupe all the data.
We won't tell anybody.
It doesn't necessarily matter if it's Hadoop data, but any data we're going to deduplicate now, and at the 8K block layer it's post-process, but that gives you potentially 20-30% savings on your storage. And as many people know, we already take the 3x replication out of Hadoop, and we bring it down to 1.2 copies because we have a little parity overhead. But now we have dedupe. On top of that, we'll dedupe the actual content down to something less.
Wow. And
then arguably, we don't need to create a Hadoop architecture in the first place because we can just run Hadoop against your existing content. So we deduplicate the need for an infrastructure altogether.
Right.
So now we've got Hadoop, dedupe, dedupe, dedupe. which I know Mona, the big data blog at EMC.com, she's writing a big blog about it, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so we're really excited about this being the first deduping technology within Hadoop, but take it a step further and have it be deduplicating the architecture, the product, and now deduping at the actual inside the product. It's really a cool story.
So enterprise grade storage, which traditionally is viewed as costing more than bare metal storage or direct attached storage within a server environment, actually costs significantly less, is what I'm hearing in most environments.
Yeah, you're taking 3x down to 1,
Wow.
1.2, then you're getting 30% off of that, and then potentially not even needing that in the first place because you just used it in your primary storage architecture. You had to save the data anyway.
Right.
You may as well be able to use analytics against it.
That's great, especially with the explosion of data out there and what people want to be able to analyze. Ryan, thanks for your time today. I know you got to get back to some customer meetings.
Absolutely.
Appreciate your time. Great
Thanks so
working
much.
with you. Thanks.
Take care.